The last build you saw, I was playing with Kashtira, and then the previous version was Bystials, and I was like, is there a way where I can make this work? And oh, this is insane. This is crazy. I mean, because okay, so I'm going against here. He opens with the best. Like that's insane. Like that's just crazy. Open up instant vision is already like a good start. And my hand, you look at my hand, like it's not that great. Like in a standard Synchron deck, this would not be great because you're like, you don't want this in hand. So he ends up milling stuff, right? Okay, he's establishing everything. He mills my levy, my second trail. Okay, so for those of you that are in Discord, I've mentioned before, if you play any AO build, Arriving Light, that you have to maximize on the trails. Majority of the time, Stardust will have to search Arriving Light. Because typically in the standard Synchron build, we normally search Illumination. Of trail. So then I can get something in the face, banish his attempt. I mean, he already summoned Kick. So at this point, what am I expecting here? Like it's standard is Shiji stuff. He goes for a Dweller. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of an issue because my trail won't trigger, my Druid's Worm won't trigger. I can't use Illumination to banish effect to reduce or increase. My Chaos Space is dead. Like what am I gonna do? Like it's just crazy. So then he goes off and he starts comboing off. Basic mill. It has Rukalos. Yeah, he has multiple shufflers engraved. Like I'm like, what the heck am I gonna do? He goes Redoer. I was like, oh my god, to top it off, he goes Redoer. I was like, oh my goodness. So he summons this, and I know he has Solic in hand. He sets and passes. I end phase search Sarnier just to pressure his fusion attempts, and then I guess contest his shufflers. But I have tuning, so tuning's great because you'll see why it's cool. Tuning is insane. Okay. And then I draw another Magnuma. That's like the best card I could have drawn to contest both the shufflers. Just to prompt the response and you see what I mean. So right now I'm thinking like, okay, well, I have access to Stardust Synchron. I have access to Arriving Light. But the good thing about Arriving Light, it doesn't matter if you draw this. You can just place it from your hand or deck to the top of your deck. So it's fine. So it's a matter of what does he negate, right? I'm already expecting the dollar to be just shotgunned, right? And then depending on what he hits, because I have traps in my deck, so he could possibly get a trap and have spells. So he can get a draw. He's gonna trigger his fusions. So he has no cards in hand, so it's not that much of a big deal. At this point, it's not looking that great, but I want to see how far I can get. So he goes Shuffler. He targets my my trail. I'm not sure why, because he could have just gone for Dweller. He returns his Bystials. Okay, fair enough. So that's one less shuffler I have to worry about. So that's good for me. So then he goes Redoer and he hits a spell. Oh my gosh! So that's annoying. So now his Rhino Heart can possibly get triggered because he might draw like a tier limit card. He changed Dweller. I go for tuning. The test Medora. I started to mill another tuning. That's like typical. You always expect to mill tuning off tuning. It's just like since the beginning of time. It's always been that way. So right here, I'm like, does he negate this? Please don't negate this, because that means I don't get Arriving Light, and then this is stuck in my hand, and I can't progress even if I wanted to. He doesn't negate it. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is good. Cause that's the obscurity of going against this deck. You have no idea how to interact with it. You have no clue. Like, where do you stop? How do you know if it's optimal to stop there? Like that's the edge you have, right? So then I go and activate and place the Wheels Dragon. But then he activates Medora. I was like, oh my god. He shuffled in my graveyard, and then I'm not gonna be able to draw the Wheels Dragon. I'm like, oh my god, what do I do? But then he ends up targeting his own stuff. So then both the shufflers I did not have to contest. So I was like, okay, that's fine. That means these two are both in the stick, depending on what he negates with Rukalos. So then I'm like, okay, here we go. Ruddy Rose Dragon. So the reason you play this, it makes it easier to climb into a Shooting Majestic Star Dragon because it's already at level 10. And all you need to do is just Ruddy Rose and Wheels Dragon, that's Majestic Star Dragon. Banish Grave effect is quite good. You just banish this entire grave. Of course, you banish your stuff as well. But, I mean, it'll hurt them more than it'll hurt you. So then I go chain 1, chain 2. This has to be chain 1, otherwise it'll miss timing. I mean, Wheels Dragon will miss timing. So chain 1, chain 2, banish. And I'm pretty sure this prompts the Solic. So yeah, this prompts the Solic. And I have double Bystial to combat his fusion attempts, which is insane. So then I draw Wolf's Dragon, effect. This is like, we just go into a Chain Link 6, and like, oh my god, so he's draw a card, and he's have another fusion. Oh my god, this is crazy. Summon. Oh my god, this is insane, look at this. And then he brings back Luke colors, and I'm like, okay, so what is honestly, no more shufflers to contest. There's nothing left. I'm on a dweller. I'm like, how do I have game here though? How do I get game? And luckily, Brotar can search me, the Strudel. Arriving Light second effect to summon a tuner from hand is gonna come up. Oh my god, it's insane. Yeah, summon, discard the Strudel. Go for Shooting Majestic Star Dragon. Oh my god, there it is. We normally make it with Stardust or Crystal Wing or any other dragon, but this is like the typical way to make it within this deck, which is insane. This will summon a tuner from your hand. 7 and 1. That's 8. Oh my god, this is insane. Look at this. Attack, and exactly game. Oh my god, that is crazy. Okay, so this is gonna be game 3. I messed up and I forgot to save game 2, so I was like, oh my god. But I did not want to let this replay go to waste. So game 3, I make him start. I think I'll benefit more with him starting because I have a bunch of Bystials. I have a bunch of hand traps. I'm starting evenly, you know. So I think it's better if I just wait and hold off and let him start. It's unfortunate I do this though. That sucks. Okay, so he starts. Scream, Reinhardt. This is always gonna hit Kit. I do not want him to get to the crime, and if he ends up milling it off the RNG, then fair enough. But I do not want him to get to the crime through the Kikellas. So he goes Kit. That's the reason I didn't activate the Bystial. Like I wanted to just because I'm gonna evade this anyways, and I'll Bystial the second fusion attempt. Evade this. He goes. He went Sharon. He milled Herald. He milled this pretty well. I mean, the shuffler is kind of annoying. Do I prompt it? I can't remember what I prompted. Yeah, no, it's fine. Okay, so I just go battle phase. So right here, I'm playing off and anticipating as I'm expecting Zeus. Because Zeus is going to be quite a problem. So you'll see that I'm going to end up keeping these in hand. Because I'm going to evenly him now. He's most likely going to keep the Baguska. Like, there's no reason why he would keep this instead. Like, otherwise he just loses. Because this is what's keeping him alive. So, I end up just go battle phase. Evenly. I deal with the Baguska. I keep the cards in hand. Because, once again, if he goes Zeus, if I set these two, they'll get no value. He has a Shuffler engrave. So, the moment I try to summon the Bystial to make this live, to try to pop this. So, it's better to just go prompt it here. Prompt the shuffle here because he'll keep it in hand because he wants to go for the Zeus line. Because at this point he's on 2 cards. Obviously he didn't draw any engine or anything to fulfill a fusion summon. Attack directly. Go to the Zeus as I assumed he would, as I anticipated he would. Right. Keep it in hand. Goes for the Zeus line. And then I draw to another evenly. So this makes it better because this evenly basically turns into a Cosmic Cyclone. So evenly tuning Stardust, that's pretty good. Imperm that. Okay, so I choose not to trigger this because I did not want to lose to a Havness. Like that's the only way I would lose. If I go effect, he goes Havness and he mills like Shizu cards and like names, and I just lose. I just lose. I did not want to risk it. Same thing with that's the reason why I didn't add off this one as well. So at least this way. I have a chance to go, okay, pop this. If he goes to Havness, okay, I won't negate Havness, that's fine. Well, I actually could negate Havness, because then he has no materials engrave. So I don't think it mattered. Yeah, I should have just gone for it. What the hell? That's you gotta assess the whole situation. Because I think I was just I got tunnel vision with losing to Havness, that I just disregarded the fact that he had nothing to synchro with, to fusion with. So negate, pop it, and set. Negate that. Dude, that was freaking crazy. Oh my god. Alright, so here's the list. Okay, so Bale, Bystial, Ale, Bystial, Raven Light. Okay, so you max out on the Bystials, right? It's quite self-explanatory. And so the main premise of the deck is level 60s and 4s. And why is that strong? Because Bystials are so good right now versus tier. They're not that great against anything else. I mean, it's very dependent on the situation, right? There's some niche scenarios where they can be good against other matchups, but mainly for tier, right? It's the best deck, so we have to counter it. So that's the main point. You interact with them, and then you follow it up with the big guys, which is these guys. These guys are insane. The fact that these banish all the graveyard, solid Omni, a really good tempo control where you just banish their graveyard and field, paired with Omega. It's insane. It's savage. These two together is even better. Like, it's crazy. And I was like, well, since I'm already going for the big guys, I can make Ruddy. And Ruddy into this is so much easier than making the Stardust, right? Because you go on there till you interact, right? Interact. Okay, so your turn, draw Stardust, summon Stardust, search your Revenant Light. Okay, right? This and this make Ruddy. Trigger Ale, draw this. Special. It's so much easier to make SMSD in this deck. It's way much easier. And of course you have the old way where you have to deal with these two and get the token and stuff. But like the fact that you can go these two into this, it's pretty crazy. It's just crazy. Like, it's just wild. And banishing the graveyard in the process is brutal. It's so brutal. But yeah, that's the whole reason, the whole logic behind this deck. Just the fact that you can easily make this guy summon special, so good. And then of course you have like I mentioned, you max this out because the majority of the time this is going to be searching Rival Light, so you want to have the chances of hard opening this. So then if so you don't have to be in a situation where like, oh, okay, damn, I can't, so because if you play one, the likelihood of you opening up this with this, it's not going to be likely because you only play one of it. So that's how you max it out. So he plays it basically playing 4 trails. I mean, I was considering playing like this Dragon Shrine and Fool's Burial just to up the count, because Dragon Shrine could send this to set up your grave. So then this sends this, you know what I mean, and then set up your thing plays. So like that's something I'm really considering of adding, because like you could not play the Riven Light stuff. You could not play that. But I wanted to make an epic replay with the anime style deck profile, because it's so good. How epic is that, man? But yeah, you can just cut this out, put Shrine, put Fool's Burial, and just make it like this and keep it like that. And you still do the same thing. You just have to cut like this, and you can put like more links if you want. But other than that, yeah, you just have fun with it, man. Have fun. It's so much fun. Look at Harrison. Oh my god, look, it's got a link. D-Link, baby. It's 2 links. It's 2 Dragon Links. Come on, it's okay. And then, but yeah, so that's mainly the main deck. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory. You still play the Mare because you do still have the Yazi line. You still have it. And this will facilitate the high level synchros. Because so what would happen is you'll make this with either like this and face search this. And then go Yazi pop, float into this. You'll use the effect 3 times, and then you'll make Excel. Excel will send this, right? And then you increase, and then you make Ready Rose, right? And then you go effects artist, tribute one of the tokens. It'll search a Raven Light. If you hard open this, even better. So then you go Raven Light, put the Woods Dragon on top, and then you trigger this to make I don't know, a synchro. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But anyways, so you have Excel. You tribute the tribute token, summon this, search this, place Woods on the top deck, and then Excel and the token will make a 10, right? And then you trigger this, and then that's SMSD right there. Like, how cool is that? It's so much easier to make it in this deck. It's pretty wild. And okay, so the extra deck, this is what I was going into majority of the time, so it's just consistent enough. Like, everything you go into, everything. And you're not playing the little guys because there's no Dollpo, there's no Converter, there's no Caligo, there's none of that. So instead of sequencing away to the big boss monsters, you go straight. You take a shortcut. It's like a shortcut. You just go straight to the big guys. It makes it much easier, and very straightforward. And there's like niche things you can do with seals, which is pretty cool. Like tributing it with Stardust, and then summon, and then this will summon something else. It's pretty crazy. That's pretty cool. And then you have Dark. Dark comes up because you can steal their Bystial, and then trigger their Bystial, and then tribute their Bystial for this, and then trigger Trail. Like, it's so many things you can do. It's insane. You just gotta mess around with it. Cause I just started this like 2 nights ago. I was like, pretty cool. And then Wallow comes up way too often. It's just insane. The fact that, like, it's so busted. It's so busted, man. It's so good, and you can easily make it in this deck. And then of course the side deck, very generic. Same thing as the Synchron one, except I'm playing bells because I'm main decking the imperms in this one. So when I go against tier, you put in the bells. Every single time you go second, you side out the ale stuff. You take out these 3, and you put in the bells or you put in this stuff, and it just makes it to where you won't break on these guys. But then when you go first, you put them back in, and yeah. But dude, this is wild. This is so cool. I'll try to do like a little like a test time video so I can like go through sequences where you can test it out and give you a bit more insight. But this is a lot of fun. This deck was a lot of fun for sure. I might try the deck without this and see how that goes. But yeah, dude. Yeah, this is wild. Oh my god. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe if you haven't, and thanks for watching.